So this is Samsung's Galaxy Tab S9. We're going to go ahead and unbox this today. In this video, I've also already done an unboxing of the Galaxy Fold 5, so if you want to check that out, I'll link it down in the description. But with that being said, this is the Tab S9, and I'm excited to take a look at it because it's finally getting an OLED display. The 11-inch, the smaller version of the Tab S series, is finally getting that OLED versus last year the Tab S8 only had LCD. So I'm excited to check out the differences and see how it compares to the Tab S8 from last year. So we'll unbox it, and at the very end, we'll do a small comparison versus the Tab S8 and also do my quick impressions. So here we have the Tab S9, and just wanted to say a disclaimer, I did mess up the audio for this unboxing clip. I did the same thing for the Z Fold 5 video, so basically I had the levels way too high for the audio and it just was a clippy mess, so you're getting a voiceover for this. So basically, you have the box. It's very similar to last year, the Tab S8, but this time it has the Tab S9 obviously on it. But that's pretty much it with the box. It's got this is the new beige colorway, which is pretty clean looking. And then that's pretty much it. So once you get to opening the box, you do have pull tabs, which is available on the Z Fold 5 as well. So I like that they're now using these. Once again, it makes it much easier. Don't have to worry about a knife, but also you don't have to worry about if someone stole your tablet or not. So there are, some carriers that are notorious for stealing your devices, and now you don't have to worry about that because if this pull tab is open, clearly someone stole it. Here, no, obviously no one did not steal mine, which is good. I did mess up the Tab S9's pull tab by accident though, but either way, continuing on here, you do get the tablet as soon as you open and remove that first piece, and it's covered up in this cloth, which is pretty nice. It protects it from scratches while it's being transported, and then you get a couple things in the box, not too much exciting stuff. You get a cable, which is a longer cable than usual. I think it's like a 6-foot cable, so it's pretty long, which is pretty nice. And then you also get your micro SD card removal tool. So you do have micro SD card expansions available on this tablet. And lastly, you get that S Pen, which is in the new white beige colorway, which I really, really like. So I like that they color coded the tablets this time around. So instead of having an all black Tab S or S Pen for all tablets, you now get a beige white to match that new color of the Tab S9. And now removing that film, you get the Tab S9, which it looks very clean in my opinion. I really like the way they designed their antenna bands with the Tab S9, and that's pretty much it. That's the tablet. The new things that I noticed here is that obviously you only have a single camera now instead of 2 cameras like the Tab S8 had. The S Pen placement now, it is more of a matte finish look instead of a glossy finish, and you can put the S Pen in either way, so you don't have to put it facing the camera like it used to last year. And at the bottom you do have still your connections for the proprietary keyboard. You have USB-C, you have pretty much the basics. It looks pretty similar to the Tab S8 with some minor differences and improvements. So now let's go ahead and move on to the first impressions. And one thing I want to point out here is that when you're doing the setup for your Tab S9 or any Tab S9 series tablet, it seems to now have the ability to scan a QR code, which will allow you to seamlessly connect to your older tablet. So if you have a Tab S8 or an even older tablet, you should be able to connect with it wirelessly. Now, I did have an issue personally while setting this up, but it should theoretically work for you, which will make it pretty easy to transfer your data over from your older tablet. All right, so it's been a couple of days now since I've been using the Tab S9, so my first impressions of it are that I really, really like it. I've been needing or missing a tablet that's OLED, but small and portable. Now, I don't really take this out much, but having a small tablet that you can easily hold with one hand, as you can see how I'm doing here, that's OLED, is nice. So it's an 11-inch display, same as it was last year with the Tab S8. But of course, last year the Tab S8 did have an LCD display, so it just didn't look as crisp with the colors as far as color accuracy and also the crisp blacks, the punchy colors. It was just missing that extra punch when it comes to display. It was still good, just could be better when you were comparing it to like the Tab S8 Plus and the Tab S8 Ultra. And now we have OLED, and it's super nice. It's very, very nice. It's very sharp, very clean, super smooth, and it's just one of the best displays on a tablet out there, just in general. I mean, the Tab S9 Plus and the Tab S9 Ultra probably provide you with a much bigger display, obviously, but some people don't need a bigger display. So the people who need a bigger display are those gonna be using it for productivity, for maybe even note-taking and stuff like that, even gaming potentially. But I just want a tablet that's good for multimedia, for watching content, YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, and this checks every single box. And if I do want to take notes, well, I still can. You still can use this device. It's still big enough for taking notes and stuff like that. But it just is a little bit too cramped if you want to do a lot of multitasking, productivity work and stuff like that. I personally don't. I use my laptop for that, so I'm okay with this size. I actually think this was a very nice upgrade, or at least it's going to be a very nice upgrade coming from the Tab S8 here. It's got the newer Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 as well, instead of the Snapdragon, I believe, 8 Gen 1. So it's not even the Plus. I believe it's just the 8 Gen 1. So battery life, right now it's still learning, but it's been pretty decent. I've been able to use it for at least a day most days, and some days I'm getting like a day and a half, which is pretty good. Now again, consider the fact that I'm only really using this device for multimedia consumption. Here we can take a look. Last time I charged it, it was only 14 hours and 45 minutes, and that's because I was using some Samsung Notes for 2 hours. So I was using it for work, at least I was trying to use it for work. And then obviously we had a lot of YouTube and some Sling, which is multimedia. So you can see here we got total 14 hours with a total of 8 hours and 41 minutes of screen on time. So that's almost 9 hours of screen on time, which is really good. Now again, if you're probably gaming and stuff like that, you probably will see a little bit less screen on time. And then another day I got here, a day and a half. Look at that. Again, 8 hours of total usage, a day and 14 hours here. But once again, YouTube was my main usage, and as you can see, Disney Plus as well. So you can see here that if you're going to be using this device for a lot of multimedia consumption, which is what I think most people are going to use their tablet for, you're going to love this tablet as far as not only the display quality, but also the battery life. It's going to last you a good amount of time. And if you were a student and wanted this for taking notes, because with it being this size, it is very nice to take around and put it in a backpack and stuff like that, along with your tablet potentially, or not tablet, your laptop potentially. It's very much portable, and I think it would last you pretty much your whole school day. You might end up having to charge late in the evening if you have like late evening classes as well as morning classes or something like that. But I will tell you that the S Pen is just, I think, a little bit more responsive this year as well, only because it's got that newer OLED display. I think the response time has increased just a little bit compared to the Tab S8, which had an LCD display again. Another thing that they were able to do, because it's now an OLED display, at least I'm pretty sure, I think this is why, is that they have now an under display fingerprint sensor. So before, the fingerprint sensor was at the very top with the power button. As you can see here, it was right up here. So now, instead of putting your finger up here and unlocking it, I'm not sure if I have this fingerprint. Yeah, I do have it registered. But you can see it's pretty fast. It's really reliable here. I don't even think it has the ability. There we go. I was like, why are you not showing off? But it's obviously a physical fingerprint sensor, so it's reliable and fast. And this one, it works 95% of the time. Of course, you do also have the option of facial recognition. So as you can see there, it unlocks with my face there. The next thing, obviously, we're talking about the display, is the rest of the device itself, the hardware-wise. The build is pretty much the exact same. I'm pretty sure it's armor aluminum as it was in the Tab S8. It's still got the antenna design here. And this is the newer colorway, the beige colorway, which is kind of like a light white silver-ish with a tint of beige or tan. It's not exactly white. As you can see here, this desk is white and it doesn't necessarily match it perfectly. I do like though that they matched the S Pen to go with it. It's now a white S Pen. Before it was all black S Pens, regardless if you got the graphite or if you got the silver, because there was a silver version as well. It was always a black S Pen. I like that it's now a similar shaded color S Pen. You can also see that this used to be a glossy finish where you would put the S Pen and you would have to put it one way, so the pointy part would be facing the camera. And if I were to do it backwards, it wouldn't really stay on there properly. So now you have the ability to put it whichever way you want, which I'm already used to pointing it to the camera, so I think I'm just going to end up doing that. But you can put it whichever way and it will charge. You can also still put it at the top here as I did earlier, so that's still there. You still also have the little pin connectors here at the bottom to connect to a proprietary keyboard if you wanted to. And with that, the cases, I am disappointed that they removed a camera up here. They did make the camera lens a little bit bigger. I'm not sure if it's a new sensor. I think it might be, given that it's a little bit bigger now compared to last year, which it was just a little bit smaller, and you actually did have two cameras there, as you can see. So the Tab S8 has two cameras. the Tab S9 only has one. So the camera that you lost is the ultra wide, so you no longer have an ultra wide on the Tab S9, which may be a bummer to some people, but to me it's no big deal. I honestly don't care. But I do care with the fact that cases from the Tab S8 do not work on the Tab S9 anymore. So because that S Pen or that camera design is different, this is a Tab S8 case. If we put it on, you can see that the camera here just does not allow it to go fully into that cutout there. So unfortunately, it does not, attach perfectly. You could still use it if you don't care about that camera, but it also slightly affects the S Pen location. So if I were to put the S Pen in here, this will hold it, but it's just not perfect. It's still doable. You can still get away with it if you really wanted to, but it's not perfect. So I did buy a different case. I had to buy a speaking case for the Tab S9 just because there wasn't a similar case available for the Tab S9, because Samsung, please remake this case for the Tab S9. I love this kickstand case. It's so simple. It's a rugged, durable case or whatever. It provides a nice kickstand that can be placed at different angles, and it just protects your tablet really well. It protects the S Pen. It's just not available. They made a new version. I think it's like the outdoor rugged version, but it just looks weird. So I got this speaking one instead, and it's not as nice only because you only have two different angles. So the first angle is just propped up, and the last angle is if you just put it upside down, you get a slightly more slanted angle so that you can like write on it if you wanted to. So it's not my absolute favorite, but now it does make it a little bit lighter just because it's a lighter case. But I just miss this case. I can use it like it is now. I don't know, it bothers me that it doesn't stick on properly with the camera there. So that's just my own personal preference and your own personal preference as well. And if you were curious, I'm sure you've already seen too, if you have like a keyboard case, the connector pins will again work perfectly fine. It does give you a message saying that this keyboard case is not designed for this particular device, but it still will work pretty much fine. But again, the back piece, the magnet piece, it doesn't stick on entirely perfect with that camera section there. So again, that's slightly annoying that it doesn't fit perfectly. You can still keep your S Pen in here and whatnot, but like I said, you can still connect it with the pen or with the pins. Yeah, with the pins at the bottom, and still use this to type away as you please. And also not to mention that the S Pens are backwards compatible, so if you have any extra Tab S8 S Pens or even Tab S7 S Pens, you can still use that S Pen on this same display. So other than that, I think that's pretty much going to be my first impressions of the Tab S9 so far. I'm really enjoying that OLED display here. I think it looks precious. I think it looks good with an 11-inch size. It looks crisp. It's 1440p, 120 hertz. I don't know what else you want me to say here, but it just looks good. So if you have a Tab S8 specifically, I think you should upgrade. If you have the chance, I'm not sure. This video is definitely going out after the pre-orders, but if they still have a decent trade-in offer for the Tab S8 to the Tab S9, definitely do it. I think I only paid just about roughly $200 from the Tab S8 to the Tab S9. And I think it's well worth it. Going from the LCD to the OLED, 100% worth it in my opinion. But that's totally up to you depending on what you do on your display and who uses this tablet, particularly if it's like kids using it. They're not going to notice a difference. Don't bother. But if you're someone who does notice a difference, you're going to love the OLED display. So with that being said, that's going to be it for the Tab S9 first impressions. So let me know your questions, your comments, and hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.